This fall, 6 cities prepare for 2 rebels with a cause. Phoenix, Houston, Charleston, Nashville, New York, Baltimore. The Rebels with a Cause Comedy Tour. Tickets on sale now at louderwithcrowder.com/tour.
Now for a trip inside Trump World's Hall of Mirrors.
Hey Steven, heads up. We're gonna need you in 15 for the trio pre-tape.
Okay, thanks, Quarter Black.
Oh yeah, and I put some extra mushrooms on that Swiss there for you. I know you like them so.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
It made me wonder at the end of a long week, was this a lie too? But this, now, the Trump presidency, this is what a crisis of leadership looks and feels
Hey,
like.
Quarter Black?
Yep.
Every week, another scandal.
Where'd you say you got these mushrooms again?
From a fan.
This
Blood
week
clubber
it
from
involved
Colorado.
Rudy Giuliani. You see him there on Hannity. This week, I have to say, some of the internet screens, some of the headlines, some of the White House credibility crisis. I mean, that is true.
When I hit rock bottom, I go back to the top of the slot, where I stop and I take all my gears for a ride. Then I hit rock bottom and I see you again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you, don't you want me to screw you? I'm making up crap that I'm trying to sell you. Tell me, tell me, tell me, come on, tell me the answer. Well, I may be alive, but I ain't no reporter. Have the stutter.
He's been behaving this way his whole life. After Trump entered politics on a line about President Obama.
Jeez.
Have the stutter. Fabricating fake news, waiting for the acts to come. Corporation stuff shirt, fake news, bloody lackey. Man, I've been a naughty boy, I got my sources wrong. I am the Eggman, I look like an Eggman. I am a walrus, cuckoo-cuckoo. Sitting in an English garden, waiting for a scoop. If the scoop don't come, I fabricate one, make it up and claim it's news. I am an Eggman.
How do you do, Brian?
My head is an Eggman.
Man still claims he's
I
straight.
am a walrus. Cuckoo-cuckoo, cuckoo-cuckoo. You want me to screw you? I'm making up crap, but don't let me fool you. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Come on, tell me the answer. You can be my lover, but I'm a chubby dancer. Have the stutter. Have the stutter. Have the stutter. Have the stutter.
Steven.
I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out
You ready?
what is new. I think the answer is the
Yeah, I was
reporting.
just...
Reporters are
And
revealing
you were,
lies one by one.
No, yeah, I'm
You know,
good.
Stormy Daniels made a cameo.
Are you feeling all right?
Same for Dr.
Oh my God!
So parody by SNL. That's the president's former.
Have the stutter.
.com.
Have the stutter.
Oh, that's a delightful sip. A good sip of tea.
Oh, boy.
We're about to discuss here today, Mr. Bill Maher, talentless hack.
It's going to be a day.
That's if old Johnny Carson had to address Bill Maher back in his day, not to be a guest on the show. Look, we have a lot to get to. Bill Maher, we've talked about him for a while. Beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. He made the mistake of letting this show's name, come out of his mouth, so we have to address it. And for everyone who thinks he's on your side, look, I think it's important to kind of note the timeline. I think there are people who do have a change of heart, but you need to know their flash of genius. What changed? Kind of like Mitt Romney when he said he became pro-life. Well, what changed? You were already Mormon. So my question to you before we move on, we'll also be talking about Salman Rushdie being attacked, the Mennonites, and more outrage over the left, and this is war, right? That they're saying this rhetoric is what's leading to violence against the FBI. Got a whole montage, hit list figuratively, of the left saying far more egregious things, actually calling people to violence. So my question to you is, which of the leftist talk show hosts can you stomach most? Is it Bill Maher? Is it Trevor Noah? Is it Stephen Colbert? Is it Jimmy Kimmel? Is it Jimmy Fallon?
No.
Is it Samantha Bee? Is it who else?
Are there other options?
I mean, I'm pretty much just run through the whole gamut. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's so far Bill Maher on your list.
I would say Jon Stewart in his prime.
Stewart for sure.
Oh, Jon Stewart is great, though.
Yeah, Jon Stewart's great. Even David Letterman was great. Conan is obviously more. Anyway, you let me know who you can stomach the most. We'll be getting to all that and more. Gerald A. is here. You doing well?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You're wearing a nice shirt, available at CrowderShop.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fastest man on his feet, the quickest wit in the West. Him and I are on tour this fall in Phoenix, September 16th at the Arizona Federal Theater, then Houston, September 17th. 2 shows that weekend at the Financial Center, Sugarland, and then Charleston, West Virginia, where nothing is there. So if you're 100 or 200 miles away, drive in October 8th at the Coliseum. Dave Landau.
Ahoy, how are you?
I am okay. I'm looking forward to this today.
Today's going to be a fun
now
show.
It's time for us to lay it on a little thick. Okay.
Yeah, Alan
what?
Thick.
Really?
What? Really, people? Okay.
Come on.
So, first off, Salman Rushdie, as you all know, was attacked, but there's some more information that, you may not have necessarily heard from the media, but I don't really think you needed to, because I think you can guess who's behind this. I warn you, there's obviously some disturbing footage. Friday, he was stabbed in the neck during a lecture in New York. In case you've missed it, here's a clip. Yeah, I think this is a different angle from the original footage.
It is, yeah.
They caught him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they caught him. I don't know how he was allowed to get that close to the stage, and that's also why when we do our shows, we have very specific protocols with security, the kind of stage we use, the distance from the stage, and a lot of people with the guns. So... He was interviewed, the guy that they caught. I didn't realize that.
Oh, was he? He said, I ran so far away, I couldn't get away.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I think you're right.
Because I ran.
He also sang Barbie Girl, which was weird. That just didn't seem related, though.
Well, it was
unrelated.
It just seems like something that the insane lament. So the attacker we now know is 24-year-old Hadi Matar, Polish. According to the European and Middle Eastern intelligence officials, they said that Matar had been in direct contact with members of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps on social media. And that's, just so you know, a branch of the Iranian military founded by the Ayatollah Khomeini. So Iran said this has nothing to do with the Iranian government and then proceeded to blame Salman Rushdie and his fans. Like, it was his fault. Because he shouldn't have said that. We didn't do anything, but he shouldn't have said any of those things that we don't like.
Shouldn't have been in public either.
Yes. We had to stab him. There's no choice.
Here's the thing. We don't play by your rules. This is the problem. The left is going, why would you say something that would affront them? Because we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care if it's against their Islamic... We don't follow Islamic law. We don't follow Sharia law. And just like Dr. Ben Carson whispered until I fell asleep, he said that the Quran is completely incompatible with the Constitution. This is exactly why. This is a shock because it took place in New York. This takes place every day across the Islamic world. And by the way, all the time in Europe. The only place you're even remotely safe is the United States if you speak out against Islam. By the way, I'm not a big fan. Muhammad, serial rapist, pedophile, warmonger. So, just last week, also, another member of the IRGC, because I don't want to say Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. It's like the abbreviation is still way too long.
Yeah.
They were charged with a plot to kill John Bolton. And just in completely unrelated news, while we remember covering this on, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday in Albuquerque, there were Islamic people who were killed, and they were suspecting white supremacy. Turns out it was actually a Muslim himself in Albuquerque.
What?
51-year-old named Mohammed Saeed. So
he looks like he should be white.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He looks like he's wearing Islamic face.
Yes, he looks like he's the dad on Happy Days.
Terrorist like me.
Except it's unhappy days.
Well, in CNN,
Well, not for him.
MSNBC, they could not get there fast enough to say this is probably more evidence of white supremacy in the United States, and we have to catch this killer. Muslim shops were actually closing down. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a mad white gunman on the loose," and there's like, "Oh, it's one of ours," and then nothing.
Yeah. Then it's like the call's coming from inside the house.
Exactly. Like, oh. Well,
so really, as opposed to white supremacy, homegrown extremists, it was an imported actual terrorist.
Cool.
No word on a fact check from CNN or any kind of retraction. So let me just do the math here. This last week, we've seen a Muslim attempt to murder a writer for his opinions on Islam, Salman Rushdie. A plot from one of that same People's Front Liberation of Iranian no bikinis, whatever it is. Murder the former national security advisor. Plot for it. Muslim arrested for murdering other Muslims.
Yeah.
It's basically gotten almost no national coverage. And I think I'm figuring out why it's... White supremacy. That's the problem that we're facing, right? Is that
right. Number one problem.
It's the number one terrorist.
It's the number one terrorist threat. I just want to make sure. Are we all in agreement?
No, you nailed it. Yeah.
It's white supremacy.
Correct.
Good.
And authors, they're a big problem.
Authors are a big problem. Particularly the people who wrote the Quran.
I like that somebody got stabbed and is going to lose their eye.
I was about to say,
the response of the left is like, well, you shouldn't have provoked it.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's not how America works.
No, that's not
the
how
whole
it works.
freedom of speech.
Where are you on the, well, you shouldn't have dressed like that?
Yeah, because it's the same
It's
comment.
the exact same
To
argument.
be fair, Salman Rushdie was a little cleavagey.
Well, yes.
He did have a good bosom.
I don't
did.
think he was a little stabby. I don't think you can...
I'm not saying it's justified. I'm just saying it takes two to terrorist tango. By the way, it's a live show Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. In case this gets removed, we never know. You can watch us on YouTube Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern because the notifications don't work, but I recommend you watch on Rumble or, of course, on Mug Club, where we do an additional full hour of show.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Don't count our notification subscriptions. We have about 19 devices here set for notifications.
Yeah.
2 come in.
I don't get one.
Yeah, I don't get one
Every once
either.
in a while I do, and I think they do it just to piss me off. I would rather they be consistent.
Yeah. Hey, YouTube, can you get a notification for anyone who hits the bell and wants one? I don't want one, okay? And now let's move on to Elizabeth Warren, our favorite. I don't know why she's allowed to.
People.
Yeah, 0 parts Cherokee.
Yes.
I have more sub-Saharan African than she has Cherokee.
Yes.
But she wrote a book on it.
I've had a Cherokee, so I'm more Indian than her.
That's true. Yeah.
And native, sorry. And androgynous.
And yours was
ambiguous. What is it?
So she
Mine
said
was grand.
She said something against Ted Cruz, and Ted tweeted back like, "This isn't even 1,024% true."
And then she started shaking, like the father-in-law at a wedding dance. She always moves like this.
Ted hired an intern to get his Twitter, a little more.
That's the only reason she can't be a dictator, because Hitler wouldn't have been taken seriously if he moved like this.
No.
No.
Be like, okay, he has rickets. We'll.
They would have just committed him in those
It's like
days.
she's one of those Muppet guys who says, yep. Just
Yeah. The first day on Sesame Street.
Yeah, exactly. We'll show you some clips. You'll see. That's exactly right. I don't do a Bill Maher impression, but this is Elizabeth Warren.
Pretty much is. She's like the used car thing that just the air thing just keep blowing all over the place.
All right.
I bet
And
her husband never
Ali
danced
Vitale, we
with
need to get to the story. And Ali Vitale's new tell-all book about Elizabeth Warren. And you can comment below if you think she's the most just inherently unlikable. Not the one you dislike personally, but the most inherently unlikable of all the people who run for office. There's a book from Ali Vitale. I'll also put that on the watch list. Lamented the misogyny of the Democratic Party. And this is actually a quote where Elizabeth Warren said, "Everyone comes up to me and says, I would vote for you if you had a penis."
Everyone.
Everyone comes up to her. And so, here's the thing. She might have, credit where it's due, she might have a point, which is why here on the show we've actually spared no expense. We've consulted with our experts for our new segment, the electability test. Yeah. And we have a computer that actually creates algorithms so we can look at different possible electability scenarios.
Right, yeah.
And we ran thousands of scenarios through our algorithm to see if Elizabeth Warren would in fact be more electable if she had, if she had a penis, partial penis, whatever it is. And we were able to create that hypothetical scenario. The machine that we have created for you today. This is what we would see if she were running for president as a man.
Oh.
It's a rhino.
It's a unicorn.
Yakuza's thinking her head's a seat. So, you know what? I will say, though, there is something there. I do feel that I would be more likely to vote for her.
I mean, just for the sheer, like, I would like to see more of her speaking in public because it'd be hilarious.
Let's see. Hold on a second. Let's bring this back up. What do you think there, Dave? I think that she is...
An attention grabber?
I think she's more... I can see what she has a point.
Can you put a hat on that?
Yeah, she does have a point.
I mean, it'd have to be like a Mongolian war hat, something with
But that will still give you monkeypox, by the way, just FYI. Just
yeah. Well, if you look at her wrong, you can get monkeypox. I don't know. I would give her probably a 20% increase in electability.
I would give her a raise in pay.
Yes.
Yeah.
No matter where she worked.
30%, yeah.
Yeah, probably 30% pay. I'd stir some powwow chow with it.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
I agree. It's
Make
like a
her eat
pestle if you have a good mortar and pestle.
Yes, it is.
She could pestle her way to a general. I don't know how she do with the Electoral College, but we can just do away with that. All right. You guys let us know below. This has been our electability test. Okay.
I mean, what do you
People
think
always
the odds
tell
are?
me, like, I'd bang you if you had a vagina. So I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Put it right on your forehead. What do you think the odds are that one person has actually ever said that to her?
What are the chances?
What are the odds?
I think her husband said it to her.
Well, that's not the question. The question is, what are the odds that everyone has said it to?
Well, I know. I'm making it harder, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm tying a hand behind my back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Everyone
one person,
she's ever met.
Yeah, everyone she's ever met.
Nobody would say it like that. They'd be like, "Oh, if you were a man, I would vote for you." Maybe I could see that. I still doubt that. But like, hey, if you had a penis, I'd vote for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Like
know
one of her
what happened.
supporters is showing up at a Beto conference. If you had a penis, then you would have my vote. But since you don't, it's out of my hands.
I just don't know what to
Maybe
do.
it's funny to you, mother effer. No,
Maybe
she does.
Stelter.
She does what the Brian. She does what Donald Trump does. Where he says, everyone always tells me I would never say this. They say you're the best looking man. That's what they say, and I say, well, look, I wouldn't go that far, but they say that's what they tell me.
But we know
no one
he's
says
not
that.
serious.
No, he's like he's bullshitting.
With her, they're writing a book about it, and it's serious.
Yeah.
Called If I Had a Penis by Elizabeth Warren.
Yes.
If
Penis
I
like
only
me.
had a penis.
If only I had a penis. That's
And you, Scarecrow.
yeah. It was the character
With
cut from
courage.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like the cowardly lion, only instead of a pendant, she gets a dildo.
And you,
Duh,
Elizabeth, will get a penis.
I wasn't gonna rape you. Duh. So
We have to put the dog to sleep. Which one is it? They all point to Elizabeth Warren.
Here's some blankets.
So we have a lot to talk about today. First, before we get to Bill Maher, we do want to play a clip of Bill Maher because it does sort of lead this segment. And I want you to comment below. Have you agreed with this idea of disbanding the FBI? Have you agreed with the idea that it's time to defund these intelligence communities and the IRS? Sometimes we see people on the right saying, that's extremist. We don't need that kind of extreme. How is it extremist to say, people who are acting completely outside of the law with no real oversight because they are the law, they're judge dreading this, you know what? We need to hold them accountable. I don't see it as extremist. You guys can comment below because I'm not going to, if you want me to stop saying it, I'm not going to. But Bill Maher led this with this talking point that comes directly from Media Matters. Does that camera work? No. Okay.
Okay.
I won't wake up. I get that it's Monday morning, for crying out loud. Also, how is that so far away from your camera thing? You have to reach over like you're crossing the wall of China, for crying out loud. It's like,
I'm kind of retarded.
Okay. Yeah. So Bill Maher led it with this talking point that did come from Media Matters and was disseminated through CNN, MSNBC, Huffington Post, then CNN again 4 days late because Brian Stelter had to get on the action and he only has one slot per week. Bill Maher decided to take a jab, and, look, it's all in good fun, but I'd prefer if it were funny, and his audience didn't really think so either. Here he is discussing this show in a tweet.
Now, all across the right-wing media, it's war. They're literally using this word, civil war, war.
What's that
There's
funny?
a right-wing podcaster, I think, name is Stephen Crowder, said, sleep well, tomorrow is war. And then tomorrow came and there was no war. Unless by war he means more podcasting. Yeah, war.
That crowd animator is the most valuable man in showbiz.
Absolutely.
You're about to say something there,
Look.
Joe?
Can't lose him.
Wait, okay, let's go to this. Here's the thing.
I'll be back with that.
Yeah, here's the issue is, look, I've talked about this before. They want to try and make it seem as though the verbiage of war, by the way, this guy, hopefully you have the camera there, Tim.
Yeah.
Toolman, this guy, Andrew Breitbart, I tweeted out a gif of, good Lord, Toolman, tweeted out a gif of him saying war as well, when he talked about war against the media.
Are you just hitting this thing with a clown
He's just hitting it
shoe?
randomly? You hitting it with your forehead wiener? Like Halloween 2 on the horn?
Getting better.
So the left has been trying to say that if you say, and this is the thing, they want you to be afraid to use terminology like war. Look, how often do you hear not only politicians, not only public figures, but you hear athletes. We're going to war, right? When you were doing, if you were playing football, we're going to war this week. And you hear political war in the middle class. It's something that's been used for a very long time. However, the left tries to do the sleight of hand, and they try and make it seem as though Republicans, conservatives, you are constantly calling for actual wars. And if you don't believe me, believe your lying eyes and ears. Here we go.
50 years ago, this country launched a war on poverty.
Can't say war.
Has it worked?
And I'm not talking about the wars in Afghanistan or Iraq or the instability in the Middle East. I am talking about the war being waged in America today.
Most notable is Judge Michael Ludig, who will say in his testimony that President Trump and his allies instigated a war on democracy.
The Republican Party declared war on democracy on January 6th.
I mean, the idea that there was a war room that was overseeing what was going on.
We're going to war room
on
is literal.
January 6th.
You got to coordinate.
Is absolutely chilling. And if there ever was a situation,
a war on what? A war on us.
That's right.
A war on our democracy. They simply cannot or will not recognize that 30 years ago, the Republican Party declared war on them and war on democracy itself.
After this quick break, we'll reveal the latest battleground on conservative war on education.
Why is my question. Why has the GOP picked schools as the battleground to fight these culture war issues?
Because this week, Tennessee has become ground zero in the conservative war on education.
You've covered this guy for a year at least now.
Is Trump just using this as a shield, this culture war?
I will say, in your opening segment, Professor Bridges showed a very effective counter to a culture war issue in her testimony.
Yeah, looks like a guy in Men in Black whose head grew back after midget cricket.
They're waging an all-out war for power.
And what we're seeing, the latest antics make clear that they are at war with Mickey Mouse.
This is
a war.
This is a
Mickey
war
Mouse?
on women that has been going on for over 20 years and longer than that.
Republican legislatures are waging a war on women. All women.
Comedians.
At least it's not the erection.
I've been under attack for quite some time, and I need to stick up for my tribe. This war on jokes must end.
Well, hold on a second. That's way more incendiary because he just also instated tribalism. He invokes tribalism. I need to stand up for my tribe.
Right.
Okay. War on jokes. All right.
Outside of this,
that's you. You're waging a war on jokes.
Outside of it's not funny.
You dropped the Hiroshima bomb. You didn't know.
Funny. Outside of it being not funny, I was pissed because I was just like, I looked down, I'm like, he basically just gave you a hard time for everybody other than him and Democrats and libs knowing what you meant. Everybody knew that wasn't an actual call for war. And he's like, we woke up the next morning and there's no war. And I'm like, we weren't calling for violence.
Because you would have been really mad if there was actual violence.
That's true, yeah. Most of the operators on our
and by the way, that
writer just got paid to just slap it together.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
be honest, guys.
He's like, slap my name on there,
It's
like
really
Ben
just
Affleck with
an
Good Will
aside.
Hunting.
Wow.
So, not to mention, you see that the war rhetoric where they say that the Republicans, conservatives have been declaring war on women for 30 years. I mean, I was still playing with my Teddy Ruxpin, so that couldn't have been me. But now they're saying that I'm the one who's declaring war and you're the one declaring war. It's not just that I said it. I said something that all of you are saying, obviously. There's nothing necessarily original there of invoking the analogy of war. That's obvious, okay. But here's something else. The leftists, of course, have made far more, and very recently, egregious, blatant public calls to active violence. Believe your lying eyes and ears.
You see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant,
An opiate voice.
in a department store, at a gasoline station.
Gasoline.
You get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. And we are going to fight back.
There it is, I told you.
We've got to get more confrontation.
I'd vote for her if she had a penis.
Sure that they know that we mean business.
Go to the Hill today. Get up and please
get up in the face of some Congress people.
When they go low, we kick. I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh. You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
So even there, she sort of tacitly acknowledged the conservatives want to destroy what they stand for. Yes, largely communism, but then said you cannot be civil. And of course, we had Kamala Harris saying they shouldn't stop; they should continue to riot. This is so funny to me. This is the first time there's been this kind of call to violence against our men in blue. First off, you're the FBI. You're not our men in blue. Okay. Conservatives have supported their local law enforcement. They have a problem with federal overreach. It's entirely consistent with the concept of federalism. We believe in states' rights before federal rights, especially when there's no oversight. And by the way, this isn't unprecedented. For more proof, check out the Summer of Love and $4 billion in damages and thousands of arrests and casualties.
Yeah. And they're basically blaming us for what they thought Donald Trump did when he said, your rhetoric is what caused January 6th. Well, look at the rhetoric that you guys just had and look at the damage that we just talked about.
It was very literal. People were harassed in diners. And then, of course, when they doxed the Supreme Court justices, people were protesting at their houses violently.
And that's obvious. We knew that that was going to happen. When you say get in their faces and let them know that they can't be anywhere in public, what do you think is going to happen? That's exactly what's going to happen. Protest? Fine. That's different. That isn't make sure they know they're unwelcome at the gasoline station.
Oh, that was a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
See, I've been watching too much Bill Maher where I've lost a sense.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right. And we'll literally play, because Piers Morgan was on Bill Maher's show, and Piers Morgan said, have you ever seen a happy vegan? And he's like, yes. And then he goes, I always feel they're always mad, they're always hangry. Yeah. No, okay, that's not true, okay? That's not true.
Tell me he's a vegan.
Yeah, no, he's like a vegetarian, but it's like, come on, you're supposed to be a comedian. Don't step on it. That's not true. There are a lot of good vegans, okay, people? Ugh. All right. So let's get to Bill Maher here, and I'd love for you to comment below, because I see a lot of people on the right saying, hey, he's turning toward the right. Maybe on some issues, and I want to be clear, a lot of people, it's a cop-out when people say, I didn't leave the left left me. No, they didn't. This is the same party as it's been really since, it can certainly go back to Carter to today. Maybe JFK might be different, because JFK would be considered a moderate Republican today. The Republicans have actually just become a little more moderate, and the left has maybe gone more left, but the truth is the Democratic Party has consistently been remarkably left, and certainly since 2009, certainly since Barack Obama. So people now peeling off, like the Bill Mahers of the world, no, actually, this is the monster that you created, and I really think they need to sleep in the bed that they made. I'm not going to bring anyone over to our side who's just trying to go to where the money is, because their ratings are in the crapper. So let's get to Bill Maher a little bit here. And look, it was an aside.
Yeah.
I wish it were funnier. I'm glad that he addressed the show. It's fine. I don't really think that he thinks we're trying to take anyone to war. I think his writers and producers give it in to him, and he's phoning it in. But this little prick just goes where the money is. And his hot takes aren't even necessarily edgy. I think we have a montage of him throughout the years, right?
That is not the origin of the Tea Party. What happened? What was the origin of the Tea Party 5 years ago? It wasn't about bailouts.
Sure it was.
It was not. It was about a mortgage bill, and then it was about Obamacare,
it was
about the stimulus.
It was about a black president. But let's
that's bullshit.
Oh, there he is, accusing the right of all being racist.
The left. Yeah. But they're not the same. They're not gun crazy. They're not violent crazy. Who goes to gun shows? Who was for the war in Iraq?
And I would never say that all Republicans are racist, but if you are a racist and you're looking for a political party, this is the obvious choice.
This is the mousetrap, at least. I mean,
right.
They hate being called racist, conservative. But isn't denying racism itself a form of racism? Pouty, vain, thin-skinned, hysterical, and just not that bright. Does that sound like anyone we know today?
Yeah, your last clip.
Who? Oh, him. All right, and finally, new rule, you can't demand that everyone stand for the flag if you've colluded with a foreign government to subvert the very democracy that flag represents. Finally, new rule, the party of Reagan has to explain how it has become the party of Putin. While Real Time was on our break last month, the infamous P-tape was finally found. It's a high-definition video of a press conference in Helsinki, and it's irrefutable evidence of a Russian hoe, and his name is Donald Trump.
So here's the thing. I like it when people sort of, if they are now awakened, not woke, but awakened. But where's the flash of genius? He went for years on tirades accusing everyone, all of you, anyone who voted Republican, not just conservatives, of being racist. Right? And then he even used the leftist tactic of, isn't denying racism in and of itself. Okay, racism. No, it says like, isn't denouncing the Nazis, isn't that in and of itself a form of being a Nazi? Not at all. It's the laziest kind of argument that he would use for years. What did we have? We have Republicans are all racist. The Tea Party is racist. You can only oppose Barack Obama if you're racist. If you're a gun owner, you're a dummy. We had Donald Trump, Russia. Right? We had all of this stuff. And then now he only, once the ratings are not doing nearly as well, and I think especially when he noticed he's tried to go off on his own, which we'll get to in a second with his podcast, decided he was against those views. And I hate to use the word grifting. I think... I just don't know how genuine it is. I'd love to have him on, Bill. I know you're watching, to talk about it, because now he says this.
Okay, but if Putin thought Trump was really that supportive of him, why didn't he invade when Trump was in office? It's at least worth asking that question if you're not locked into one intransigent thought.
Well, then get in your DeLorean, asshole.
Because Putin was intimidated by him.
Yeah. Has he come out and said, "Oh, hey, I was wrong"? No.
No, that's the issue.
No, nobody does.
No.
That's
you absolutely should, because these all of those clips played together, like this has to be somebody who doesn't care or really have a moral center or maybe an ideological center. He's just, like you said, going where the money is, because they completely contradict each other.
Yeah.
And it's not like we're taking clips from 25 years ago and comparing to today.
Right.
Like you can have that moment, like you said, but we don't see the moment where he's like, hey, I was wrong about all these things, and now he's saying something.
If I came out tomorrow and I was pro-abortion all the way up until birth, including after birth period,
right,
and I supported the Virginia, you'd say, I have some questions. If I came out and I said I endorsed Bernie Sanders, you would have some questions, rightfully so. I wouldn't be allowed to just continue on down the trail and act like I had always been in that camp. And I just think that people, if they're coming over, they need to have some questions asked of them. Like Carrie Lake last week on the show. I said, look, you were a Democrat at one point. Why? She said, it's because I was very anti-war, and I thought that McCain was sort of, being from Arizona, another side of the same coin with George W. Bush, Barack Obama. I thought they were both liberal. Barack Obama was the most likely to end the war. She answered the question.
Yeah.
So this is what Bill Maher did, and now let's listen to him again when he talks about this podcast, the podcasting, just in case you've forgotten.
So now all across the right-wing media, it's war. They're literally using this word, civil war. There's a right-wing podcaster, I think his name is Stephen Crowder, said, sleep well, tomorrow is war. And then tomorrow came and there was no war. Unless by war he means more podcasting.
Podcasting.
Yeah, war.
Look, and I get it. He's on HBO. Podcasting is silly, right? You'd never have anything to do with that, Bill Maher. Oh, that's right. Just really badly. All of a sudden, without those HBO dollars and rerunning 4 times a day, it's a little bit tough to get those ratings.
Numbers are a little low there.
Yeah, and you know what the truth is? I wouldn't, because war. I mean, you might want to check your comments section there, and of course, keep it civil, everybody.
Yep.
But I wouldn't want to hurt Bill Maher's feelings.
Kyle Kalinske? He does a great impression of you.
I didn't know who he was.
Have you ever seen the face swap version that he does of you on Instagram?
No.
Oh,
I don't know what.
Find that before we leave. What's that? Did I say Kalinske? Sorry, Kyle.
No,
Kyle
we don't have to look at this. I'm
it's amazing.
To you, it was amazing. It wasn't. I don't man. People have done me, and I can laugh at it. It's something.
It was your face. He's got your face, and he's doing an impression of you. You've never seen this?
Did not. I saw what. Anyway, the point.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The point was. What was the point?
You lose. They're both high, but I just like that Joe is so aware of being a comic that he's just laughing. He knows you can laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
That's I do find that odd in that clip.
And by the way, we'll be taking your impressions on Mug Club, I think, at some point. We'll be doing some joke. Viewers will submit some jokes later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Good. Yeah.
And here's the thing. We didn't just podcast, just to be clear, the war. That's not what happened. We called Republicans to the mat. By the way, the war was really more so waged on Republicans. I said, by 2 o'clock today, if you do not actively call for the disbanding of the FBI, I will not support you. I will actually come out against you. Like him as a person, Dan Crenshaw, you got some splaining to do.
Yeah. Ted Cruz, when he was on, we were like, hey, Section 230, come on.
Section 230 right now. Ted Cruz has been pretty strong from what I've seen on the FBI issue, though.
Yeah.
I bought a Rambo bandana.
Did you?
Yes.
Ooh, wow.
Well,
and I realized it wasn't literal. I decided to just sweat the oath.
He didn't buy a Rambo bandana. He took it off of his commemorative gizmo.
That's true.
Gremlins 2.
I remember.
It's true. The new batch.
Don't you dare mansplain Gizmo to me.
I didn't mansplain Gizmo to you. I was just saying I preferred Gremlins 2 when I was a kid, and then when I rewatched it, I was like, "Oh, this is not good." Now,
no, it's a rough movie.
So we called the Republicans to the mat with the FBI, including Kari Lake, likely future governor of Phoenix. And this is one thing too.
Arizona.
Sorry, of Arizona. She's from Phoenix, but of Arizona. Yes, I know. But you can, what, admonish me.
Well,
Here, look, if Bill Maher's never going to admit that he's wrong, I said Phoenix.
Yeah.
I should have said Arizona.
Well, and I think she lives in Phoenix now. To be true, she's not from.
It doesn't matter. There's no governor of Phoenix. Okay. Look, I screwed up, people. People make mistakes, okay? And I don't do a Bill Maher impression. Kyle Dunnigan does. Maybe we could get him on the show. He does a fantastic impression. It's not one that I do.
Spot on.
Do not compare anything that we do here today with Kyle Dunnigan's impression of Bill Maher. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And you don't see this a lot with people on the left. This is where the right, we sort of devour our own. People say, well, why don't you do more? Well, look, we do as much as we. No one expects Jimmy Kimmel to change the laws in the country immediately. No one expects that of Jimmy Fallon or even Trevor Noah. But being able to call Republicans to the mat, not to mention, by the way, all of the pending lawsuits with big tech, which you're well aware of, and I can't discuss in full. Hey, Bill Maher, how many of those have you waged against the establishment? Are you working along with HBO, who half the time they might copyright this video so that it gets removed, just like Stephen Colbert, so they can eliminate criticism of Bill Maher, who has a tough time filling seats in theaters and has a tough time getting people to listen to his podcast when it's not on HBO. I understand why he'd want to hang on to his slice of the pie there. And also, which clip do we have coming up? Which clip is this? I'm trying to remember. From Bill Maher. Do we know?
Well,
I'm not sure.
There's another clip coming up. Is this the takes that he doesn't like? He has a take that he basically wouldn't allow on his show. Is that what it is?
Oh, let me see. Let's see what the next clip is.
This is a short clip.
Yeah.
Appropriating sounds like an unforgivable sin until you remember that's what acting is. That's why acting jobs are called roles. And isn't the best acting always about making us feel our common humanity beyond separate identities? Why don't we just go by merit and let the best actor win?
It's so funny that he mentions this, because I have to talk with half Asian Bill about single party, dual party, because his booker may have been in New York or California, where, they're not free. But they reached out to me. Was it 2017 that Beauty and the Beast did the remake? I think it was 2017. It was a year that
here is going to be like, yeah,
totally. They have that. Well, you know what? Yakuza has a commemorative beast.
Oh, that's true.
Zip it.
And I remember speaking with the booker at Bill Maher, and I have all this somewhere, or maybe I don't. If you're not allowed, I don't.
Yeah. Let's say you don't.
Yeah. And I remember them asking me, the booker at Bill Maher. They said, "What do you think about the Donald Trump Russia issue?" And I said, "I don't know. What do you mean?" So what do you think about the colluding with Russia? I said, "Oh my God, has he been colluding with Russia?" I said, "Well, that's what people believe." And I said, "Is there new evidence that I didn't know about?" I said, "Well, no, I just want to know." I said, "Oh, so you want me to speculate on something that is likely untrue, but for which there is certainly no evidence?" Yeah, it's not really what I do. I said, "What I did find funny is I saw Beauty and the Beast, a live action one the other day, and I think it was yesterday. And I do find it funny that Oscar So White is trending when Mary J. Blige played an armoire/queen in whiteface in 1740s slavery France. So, maybe they came out even on that one?" She goes, "Oh, so you want to talk about Disney?" I said, "No, I'm talking about the woke brigade cancel culture over the Oscars, and they don't acknowledge that it goes both ways. A dollar short and a day late for Bill Maher. Same views now." And by the way, of course, I was never on the program, which
I think you should be. I mean, honestly, I think that you and Bill could have a very interesting discussion.
He's never had Dennis Miller on. He's never had Norm Macdonald on. He's never had Nick DiPaolo on. He never had Bill Burr on. He never had Patrice on. Geraldo. He did have Joe Rogan on once and chastised him for Fear Factor because Bill Maher was offended at it. That's how you know it's good.
Because he ruined American culture?
Yeah. It's like, okay, having people eat pig testicles. What? Come on, that's gross.
I didn't even know that was a challenge.
Yeah. It's Tuesday. It's 2-for-1 bull testicle Tuesday.
Lamb fries.
Yes, I'm a winner.
And here's the thing with Bill Maher. Look, even his own. You've talked about this. I know you've found him funny in the past.
I have. I found a lot of politically. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to lie about it. Like I found there's a lot of politically correct and funny. I found some of his specials funny.
Have you seen his new special?
I did not. I said some.
I texted you. I remember. I think we were in. Where were we? We were in Colorado Springs, and I was watching it. I remember my hotel room. I was like, "You have to tune into HBO and watch the new special, Adulting." That's what he called
it might have been. Yeah.
And you were like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I knew where he was at. Well, with Bill, I think there is a genuine part of him when it comes to comedians where he is defending it because that's what he is. But I think it is definitely angled at his own speech, not necessarily the speech of every comic.
Exactly.
Wait.
Whereas we have consistently defended the speech of every comic we don't like.
Yeah. Now, did you just call Bill a comedian?
He's a
comedian.
Look, he's a comedian.
Don't do that. That's lazy.
No. It's not like. Listen, I'm making.
It doesn't matter. You may not find him funny, but he's a comedian.
No, I didn't realize
it's a fair
was
joke.
How he came up. Right now, he's styling himself as a political commentator who does a quick little stand-up right before his show and then goes and talks to people.
No, he was a comic in the 80s with.
I'm not saying that's what you do. You actually go out and tour live.
You just said in a nice way exactly what Norm said, where he said, "Yeah, you have guys. I'm not like a political guy, and you have like Bill Maher on there with what's the name of the guy who won the Nobel, the Pulitzer? Will, what's his name? I'm trying to remember the conservative commentator. I don't know. Sitting there, Bill Maher talking with
Bill Kristol?
Talking with Thomas Sowell, like, what's this guy gonna add, right? I don't know anything, but he didn't know anything either. But he makes it seem like I know something there.
So I'm basically the everyman in this conversation, and I never looked at Bill Maher as a comedian. I looked at him as somebody who hosted a show and tried to be funny. By the way, watched the show today to see what he said about us, and I was like, this is very unfunny. And I'm not just saying like for massive, like big comedian fans. I'm saying for the general audiences, I would have to be told.
Well, here's where I will give you some credit here. I'll give you some points where it's due. With crowd animators, his own audience often finds him not good.
That's actually self-admitted as well.
Republicans reacted like they do in Karachi when someone burns a Koran. Karachi's in Pakistan. Sorry, I thought you knew that.
They did know it.
Information that shouldn't be out there that Trump has. Trump supporters are like, no, this is politically motivated. They say, if you lock him up, how are we going to lock her up?
That one was kind of funny. But here's the thing. I think
they don't laugh because it's not on the side of the politics.
Exactly.
That's what bothers me so much about it. Like, why always side with that?
He's like Kurt Cobain, minus the talent, and that he's mad at his audience for wanting him to play something that he doesn't want to play anymore.
Minus a good wife.
Eventually.
Yeah, you never know.
One of these days.
So here's the thing, and I'd like for you to comment below. I think that you always have to beware charlatans in your midst. And by the way, they also come in the shape of people who claim to be Republicans. That's why we've waged our war just as much against conservatives, against Republicans, as we have against liberals. Bill Maher right now, I see a lot of people who share some segments from this show and not aware of the exact segment before that where he was supporting the raid on Donald Trump. This guy wants to have it both ways. He has to play ball for the networks. And then when he tries to do his own podcast, which is really just him getting high with semi-interesting guests and then some really interesting guests, it falls flat on its face. He can't make it work on his own. And he's always a day late, a dollar short. Matt was the one who said that, which brings us to the formulaic Bill Maher jokes. Bill Maher's top 7+1 hot takes this week. 7+1.
You forgot to run in the chamber.
This is 7+1 hot takes from Bill Maher.
I think this is the wrong document.
I don't think this is what? No. I think I have it right. You tell me as I go out here without a net and do it.
I think this is just the 7+1 jokes you would write.
Well, it's a hot take. All right, look. Okay, number 7. New rule. Okay, ancient Egyptian people. The sun is not a god named Ra. Okay. It's an effing ball of gas, and not the kind that you get from too much shawarma. Okay. Shawarma's it's a Middle Eastern dish. I thought you knew.
Wait, I didn't know.
That is a spot-on joke he would use.
That is absolutely okay. This is our 7+1 Bill Maher hot takes. You know what, Dave? Give us number 6. Give us your best Bill Maher.
I'll try, kids. Here's a gentle reminder. Okay, the Easter Bunny, not a giant bunny hiding eggs in your backyard. Oh. It's your effing parents. They never should have had you in the first place. Grow up. You're 5. Okay? Okay.
A good portion of these, I feel like they could have been taken from his...
Really?
Taken from his show.
We were really trying to write these in what he would write.
7+1 Bill Maher hot takes or Bill Maher jokes, however you want to... Same thing.
No, I said it wrong. I'm
Gerald,
sorry.
do number 5.
All right. All right, somebody tell Thomas Jefferson to keep his quill pen and his knickers and out of the help, okay?
Oh, boy.
Oh, jeez. I like brown sugar just as much as the next guy, but I wear something a little more effective than sheep intestine, okay?
I don't know why you started doing it like that lady in the health.
I was going to say,
this is a terrible Bill
you sound
Barr
like a flamboyant Southern man.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
you sound like the soul Octavia Spencer ate.
Yeah.
Like Zach Galifianakis doing the doing the effeminate racist.
He's wearing his fanny pack.
I just
All right,
don't
hard
care
to sit
for
with
them.
it, too.
7+1 hot Bill Maher takes. Number 4. Listen, Donald Trump is crazy, okay? So crazy his tailor I can't. Okay. His tailor had his jacket fitted for a 44 crazy.
That's where the applause sign goes off.
Yeah. It's a lot harder when you don't have a crowd animator. The segment is tough to do. It's tough to do because we're writing accurate, unfunny jokes.
Yeah.
And this is how the reaction probably would be.
Yeah.
Literally, these would be used on the show.
Right. I'll give you okay, I'll do number 3, okay. Okay, listen, Melania, as you know, from Russia, mail-order bride, okay? It's no secret. She's the only wife who comes with the question, do you want fries with that? Okay. What? No one eats fast food? All vegans. 7+1 hot takes from Bill Maher. And by the way, this is more effort than he puts into his podcast. Number 2, Dave.
Yeah. New rule, America.
Oh, I like his
Learn
rules.
to read. All right, rural America. A bunch of MAGA folks accidentally went to a Lady Gaga concert Saturday because they thought the Gaga stood for Getting America good again. Right? Come on. Am I okay? Right? Right?
The applause sign is late. There's a circuit issue.
Be sure to put that on.
Yeah.
I'm not nice to the help.
Someone fire my animator, okay? Let's replace him with one of my black prostitutes. It's not hard.
I don't need an opener.
Yes, you do.
Really, really do. And lots of drugs.
You really do.
I need warm up.
7+1, number 1, Bill Maher hot takes. Look, Joe Biden now is so old. People have started a new meme in his honor, okay? They've started a new meme in his honor. It's the Kick the Ice Bucket Challenge, okay? Wait, I have to plank.
Kick the bucket means die. Okay.
It means, look, okay, he's old, he'll die. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Look.
Okay.
HBO. I blame HBO. All right, and the final 7+1, Bill Maher hot takes, the +1. Dave, why don't you take the +1?
They're saying Trump might not be able to run in 2024 after the Mar-a-Lago seizure. Okay, not a raid. The only thing Trump looks like he's been running for is a drive-through, right? What's your necktie size? Lasso? Okay. Okay.
That's Joe's thing.
I pay for sex.
All right, everybody, tell me.
Dynamite! This has been this week's 7+1.
You forgot Stefan in the chamber!
This is the most uncomfortable I've ever been on my own show.
I am so glad you didn't come back to me for any more.
I know. By the way, you can share the show if you're watching this, of course, on YouTube right now. Hit the share button. Sharing is caring. You can like it. All of those things help with the algorithm. You know, the main issue here is you don't have to acknowledge that someone is funny, but you can acknowledge that it's a joke. Yeah. And I can kind of acknowledge that with Bill Maher, that a lot of what he says is meant to be funny. But if he's just so thin-skinned and he's so remarkably inconsistent, and this is a guy who, look, let me just tell you one thing. We've talked about this. There have been, of course, multiple offers for me to do something similar if we wanted to leave this and go to network television. That's why I recommend, I ask or don't, that you sign up, louderwithcreditor.com/mugclub. We do less than 1% of advertising throughout this show compared to about 10 or 15% with other shows.
Crazy.
We don't have to play ball with a place like HBO. We have to play ball with a place like Fox News. And you never fully know if you're getting the fair if you're getting the fair shake, if you're getting the real scoop from these people, because there are too many other intermediaries. I don't know. Maybe Bill Maher would like to have one of you guys or myself on the show. Maybe he would come on this show. But I guarantee you his bookers won't allow him to. They're like, it's like Mickey protecting Rocky from Mr. T. They don't want to let that happen.
Invite us on the show.
Look, okay, you have to go through the process.
Of course.
You're not as funny as
Bill.
You're no Tommy Lahren, okay? You're no, all right, you're no S.E. Cupp, okay?
You're no random author.
Yeah, you're no Fred Durst, all right?
No, he's great.
This is what he does. He has people on. He does have, he's had Jordan Peterson on, of course. I'm not saying he only has people on who are patsies.
But that's not worried about a comedy contest.
No, exactly.
And honestly, that's the only time that I have seen clips of Bill Maher. Ever. He never has been the front of the show where he does the stand-up stuff. It's always been clips of him talking with people, and it's usually, I don't know, it's not my style. Like, it feels like, what was the other guy we just mentioned that was actually a good liberal commentator? Just forgot his name.
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. So it feels like a dumbed-down version of Jon Stewart, where it's not as funny, it's not as quippy, and it's not nearly as kind of insightful.
Well, there's an authenticity to Jon Stewart.
Big
exactly.
time authenticity. I don't agree with Jon
that's why
Stewart and
people
everything.
like him, though.
Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I get that he actually fully believes it and is better at presenting it.
No, of course.
And I'm not like taking a dump on Bill Maher. I'm just like, he's no character like his ever appeals to me. He's like a curmudgeon, right? He's always somewhat unhappy, mopey, and he just throws something out there and it's supposed to be funny. You're not a curmudgeon.
Is that me?
I think no. Okay, I was like, you do realize where you're sitting, right? No, I'm just one step short of pissing in jars in my compound.
No. You're going after somebody like that. A rant is different than, all right, guys, this is stupid. Yeah. You're not doing that.
No, I think it's important. Look, it's important too. Like, there are people like Louis Black funny, Jon Stewart funny, Kathleen Madigan funny. You have a Lenny Bruce shirt on now. Lenny Bruce early stuff funny, late stuff absolutely terrible. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, that's because and I agree, but that's because like even in the picture, they decided to destroy him. He became a morphine addict, and it was somebody who stood up for free speech. That's the sad thing.
David Letterman was the funniest, to me, late-night host who's ever existed. And I know that he's left. Conan O'Brien, obviously very funny. He's leaned left. So I don't have a problem with that, to be clear. And I think that you shouldn't have a problem with it. Look, I feel confident enough. I recommend that you go and watch Bill Maher's podcast. Go watch the clips that we'll show. We'll probably continue it on Mug Club here a little bit. But go watch his podcast on YouTube. Go watch it. See what you think.
How about no?
By the way, we're going to make him Yakuza for a full 48 hours. We're going to have an electrode attached to him where if he speaks for 48 hours, he'll be shocked. He can only talk through that soundboard like Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Really? And I bet you he'll be very effective at communicating.
Oh, I guarantee it.
He's so quick with it. It's unreal. But here's the thing. There's a difference between acknowledging that someone is funny or talented and bringing them in, welcoming them in amongst your ranks. I think you need to be prudent about that because we've seen too many times people do that and then just like a bull in a china shop and not in a good way, just cause a bunch of damage. There's a difference between people you respect and you can hold at a respectful distance versus people who you allow to put on your team jersey. And I just want to be clear about this. Look, all references are available at louderwithcrowder.com. You can watch the montages. You can watch the original clips that we've posted here today. Just look at the timeline, and my main question is always this: whether it's Bill Maher, whether it's anyone from one of these YouTube shows that became more conservative, anyone who says, "Oh, I've changed," you can look at a guy like Straka and he explains why. You can look at a guy like Rubin O'Kane and he explains why. You can look at someone like a Kerry Lake, who was always a Republican but was a Democrat for about 4 years, and explained why. But there needs to be a flash of genius moment. Let me ask you this. Anytime that you have fundamentally changed your worldview, or there's been a life-altering decision that you have made, think about it. Could be when you decided you were going to talk to your parents again. It could be when you decided you were going to be a conservative as opposed to a liberal. It could be when you decided that, you know what, you're going to go back to school. A fundamental course altering of your life. Guarantee you can remember the moment and where you were when you made that decision and what changed. It's actually a legal term. There's a great documentary on it called Flash of Genius. The guy who invented the intermittent wiper, Greg Kinnear, plays it.
Yeah.
What is Bill Maher's flash of genius? That is my question. So before we bring someone into the fold, I think we always need to ask, okay, not in a general, the left left me. No, what was the moment where you said, oh my gosh, I'm going to be consumed by the monster that I created? And by the way, Bill Maher did create this monster. This is a guy who was on a campaign to portray all conservative voters, all Republicans, all Tea Partiers, all people who oppose Barack Obama as racists, as fundamentalists, as extremists. And this is a guy who pushed and was complicit with the Russia collusion hoax from the beginning and now tries to distance himself from it. And I can also tell you behind the scenes that his bookers were pushing the guests to discuss that hard. That's why I was unceremoniously not invited on the show. Could also be that, I just sucked in the interview process. I have no idea. But I do know they were asking for my opinion on that, and they didn't like when I said, you know what? Come on, let's talk about news that is actual news. This is just speculation here. You need to ask of all these people, don't be led by the nose, what is your flash of genius moment? Okay, you say that you've changed now. What changed? When did it change? And where were you when it changed? And I'd love to see you comment below. If you were a former liberal, you can comment below when your flash of genius was, or any really fundamental life-altering decision I'd love to read about. But I know a lot of you used to be liberals before you went on the show. We have a lot of Bernie supporters who kind of came over after a while.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see that, and I would just love, that's the one thing I would like to see from Bill Maher before we decide to call off the dogs. And by call off the dogs, I mean just show the clips to you so that you can judge them for yourself as to whether they're funny or not. That's always tough, right? When you just go, hey, you know what, we don't need to edit anything. Just show the joke. That's worse than anything we could say. So I'm curious to see what you have to say about that. We're going to play Pokemon or racial slur. There's no way we could do it on YouTube. And we also have some more clips from Bill Maher chastising Pierce Morgan that I want to get to. YouTube, we love you. Thank you. And we get it. Freest and fairest election ever in history, of course. The last election, right? 2020.
Sure.
Monkeypox as a pandemic. That means I don't really believe any of that. Piss off, YouTube.